Today in this video, we're going to talk about, are you credit worthy? And what does the credit score say about you in the past and in the future? Check it out. Hi, I'm Rhonda Burgess. I'm a mortgage underwriter and real estate broker here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. My firm is Southern Living Realty Partners. Okay, let me I want to clarify something on one of the other videos that I said about being credit worthy. That's our term, credit worthy. Okay. In that video, I said that sometimes you may have a good credit score, but you are not credit worthy. Okay. And being credit worthy means exactly what it sounds like. Are you worthy of someone giving you credit? Are you worthy of that? Has your past plus what you setting up for the future, does that indicate that you are a credit worthy person that you should be lent to? Okay. So let me say this. Again, like I said in the other video, when we have to validate your credit score. As the underwriter, we have to validate your credit score. So what that means is we have to look and see, do you have the trade lines on your credit report to back up your credit score? Because see, you could have a good credit score and not be credit worthy. The ways that this can happen is, let's say all your accounts are authorized user accounts. You got somebody to put you on their trade lines and you're just an authorized user. You're not responsible for that payment. You don't make the payments. There's nothing. The only thing you're benefiting off of is that track record, is that history of that trade line, right? And so I know I've done this for both of my kids. Both of them had, when they were 18, 19 years old, had 730, 750 credit scores. But it was all off of my credit. Okay. And again, you have to be careful if you ask someone to put you on as an authorized user, that's creating a trust relationship, because that's a two-way relationship, because you are wanting to piggyback off the work that they've done on their credit and their credit profile, right? But at the same time, you got to trust that person who put you on, that they are still being a trustworthy person, that they're still credit worthy, and that they're still paying their bills on time. Okay. So it really creates that relationship where you got to be trusting in that person, that they're still handling their business, so that you can benefit off of their payment history with your authorized user account. Now, most of the time it works out fine. But again, it's just like I said in the last video, when you get people like you done put that car in your name or whatever, or you're the co-signer and you're not following up to make sure that they're paying that bill on time. It's the same thing you need to do with the authorized user account. You need to be pulling your credit to make sure that it's still reporting good. And especially if you haven't talked to these people, you don't know what happened. Maybe they got sick, they was in an accident, they got laid off, they're furloughed currently. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's going to be hard for them to keep up on their bills, or something has happened and they've fallen a little bit behind. That's going to impact you because you're that authorized user account. Okay. And listen, to this day, I don't know why American Express don't like me. I can't tell you why. I don't know. I just must not have been living right in a previous life. I've never had an American Express card, but you know what? My son, I'm an authorized user on his American Express account. I surely am. Okay. And again, I did it simply because I had done all of this for my children, for my son and my daughter. And so I was like, shoot, mama needs an authorized user account. It'll help boost me up. Okay. So yes, I'm an authorized user on his account, but I follow it every month. I get the emails and everything. So I make sure I follow that. like, we talk every day and everything, and I generally know his financial situation, but I still double check my credit reports. I told y'all I watch my stuff. So make sure that when you do become an authorized user on those other people's account, that you are following up with them to make sure they're straight, so that your credit line will be straight. What I was saying is, most lenders have a minimum threshold they want you to have when you're getting a mortgage. So it may say they want you to have at least one trade line with at least with a $5,000 high credit, meaning the credit line itself was $5,000. Okay, it don't mean that you use that much. You don't have to use it at all, but it's just telling you it wants to see that someone else, some other creditor, has felt comfortable with this same person, this applicant, and has given them at least $5,000 before. So that way they be like, okay, so this person knows how to handle, quote unquote, a larger trade line. Some of them have a $10,000 minimum. It just depends on the lender. Okay. So just know that there's going to be, when you're looking at the mortgage thing, they want to see that you have actually used your credit. Okay. And that other people have extended you credit. Yes, we do loans. It's a manual underwrite where if you ain't had no credit, you haven't had no credit. Okay, cool. Then what we got to do is create alternative trade lines for you. We want to see, we're going to want to see your rent anyway, but your rent, your utility bills, your cell phone bill, your car insurance, stuff like this. Do y'all see how a person can have a 700 plus credit score and have none of this? They've just got authorized user accounts showing up. So are they credit worthy? No. Whereas a person with a 0 with no credit score whatsoever, because they have not had traditional credit, we can build up their file with those things I just mentioned, those non-traditional trade lines, and they are actually a stronger candidate than the person with the 750 credit score that's just off of authorized user accounts. Okay? You got to realize that the credit scoring model, yes, I know you're thinking, maybe I had a bad history before. Okay? So let's say that. I know you're wondering, does your credit score, does it actually project how you're going to act in the future? Yes and no. Because remember, the credit score is based on your past. It's just based on your past. How did you pay your bills before? And they're using that as an indicator of how you're going to use your credit going into the future. I know that don't sound, for those of you who've always been good with your credit and everything, that's a good system. But for those of us who've had some serious bumps in the road and, we fell to the wayside and then we trying to come back up, that's not necessarily what we feel as fair, because just because what I did in my 20s don't mean that's what I'm going to do in my 30s. Okay. I know it in a way it's not fair, but that's just how it is. So the second thing I want to emphasize is when you have had those bumps in the road, you fell to the wayside. 9 times out of 10, it was because of something that happened outside of your control. You lost your job. You got sick. You had an accident. Somebody lost their job. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was your significant other. Maybe it was a parent. A parent got ill. Something happened outside of your control normally, okay, that caused your credit to spiral, okay, whatever it is. If you ain't working, you ain't got no income coming in, you can't pay your bills, understood. You got sick, your spouse got sick, your spouse lost their job, whatever, your parents, your kids, something happened to somebody that was outside of your control. And that's normally how your credit gets impacted. Okay. I know for me, I was a single parent, car breakdown, you don't have no choice but to pay to get that car fixed, right? You using that credit. You may not be, you may not have got enough hours on your job. You may not have, something may be going on where you're unable to pay that bill, even if it's the minimum payment. Okay. That's totally understood. But your credit score is going to reflect that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, your credit can go, I've seen it as low as like a 3 something credit score, 300 something. I'm going to tell y'all one thing. I know at one time I had a 475 credit score because I remember pulling my own credit. Totally embarrassed. Totally embarrassed. But hey, life happens. So I want to say this. So if you are at that point where you don't want your credit score to hinder you because of what happened in the past, the only way to fix it is to acquire new credit and use it. Let me say that again. The only way to fix previous bad credit and a bad credit score is to establish new credit and use it. I'm going to emphasize the and use it. Please, please, please don't sit up here and get these new trade lines, right? So what? If it's got to be secured, it's got to be secured. Okay. You got to put down $200, $300. They're going to give you a trade line of that or double that or whatever, because they want to see how you going to operate this time. Hopefully you're much smarter. You're wiser. You ain't co-signing for nobody. You ain't bailing nobody else out. You focusing on your own self, because you know the difference of having bad credit and no credit and having good credit, and the endless opportunities that you have when you have a high credit score, when you have credit that you can actually use. Okay. So whether it's secured or not, get the new credit and use it. It makes no sense to get new trade lines and you don't use it. I can't tell you how many of y'all do that. And it's not making you credit worthy. Just because you got the credit, okay, even if it's unsecured, I'm not understanding this. You're getting unsecured credit. Wonderful, wonderful. Somebody is taking a chance on you. Maybe you got your score back up to the, high 500s, low 600s. You finally got somebody that's going to take a chance on you. And that could be anything. It could be a credit card. It could be a loan, a car loan, whatever. I don't care what it is. But a lot of times I see people getting new credit, like a new credit card, and then you don't use it. You've got to use it so that it generates a report, a history, so that when this 30 days is up and the creditor is reporting to the credit union about what happened last month, if you didn't have no activity, there's really nothing for it to report. Do you see what I mean? And so how does the scoring model know whether or not you have new good habits and you're trustworthy and you're credit worthy now if you don't never use your credit? You see what I'm saying? I know, like I said, the system is set up ugly. It is. It's set up real ugly. But you will never get to that new score that you want. You will never be able to really distance yourself completely from that old bad credit if you don't establish new credit, and you've got to use your credit. This is how you become credit worthy. So again, just know when you're going and you're looking at doing a mortgage, ask yourself, are you credit worthy? Do I have a history on my credit report of paying my bills? Am I currently showing that I can be trusted to pay my bills? Am I, when someone looks at me on paper, what do I look like? And do I look like somebody with a 475 credit score that don't have a sufficient income, that's robbing Peter to pay Paul, that has no good nothing going on? Or am I over here where maybe I'm not a 475, maybe I'm a 600, but I am using my Discover card every month to buy gas and I'm paying it off and I'm seeing my score tick up because I'm following my experience, my smart credit. I'm following something that's telling me every month, yes, you are going up. Your score is going up. Or, your score stayed the same this month. Your score only went up by 1 or 2 points. What am I doing proactively to show that I am credit worthy? This is how you get 2 people with the same score that are not credit worthy. So just make sure you're doing the homework and doing the best that you can do. Again, keeping we're not co-signing for nobody. We're not doing none of that. We're not doing none of that no more. And we're focusing on ourselves and having the best credit and the best credit score that we can.